friends, it is Miss Liz here, your teen librarian at the Half Hollow Hills Community Library. And today I am super excited because we have a sweet program for you. Today I'm going to show you all how to make your own donut planters at home using the grab and go kit that was provided by the library. So hopefully you made your way on down to our Chestnut Hill location, picked up your supplies, and you are ready to craft. So in order to get started with our donut planters today, there are a few things that you're going to need from your grab and go bag. The first is going to be the terracotta pot that you have. You're going to need to find the paintbrush that was included in your grab and go kit. You're going to want to grab that big stack of paint that was included in your bag. And you're also going to want to grab, which was not included in your bag, a nice cup of water so we can clean off our brushes, as well as a paper towel, tissue, or washcloth that you can use to clean your brush in between colors. I also recommend grabbing a pencil in case you want to sketch out any of your design. However, that is totally optional and up to you. If you just want to paint, there is no reason to have a pencil. I just like to include it just in case. So the first step, if you're like me and you kind of like to have a guideline, is going to be that I'm going to trace out the shape of my donut frosting onto my terracotta pot. Now, this doesn't have to be the exact shape that it's going to be at the end. This is just kind of a guideline for me to see how far down I want to go in the pot, what kind of shape I want it to have, how many, drips of frosting do I want. It just gives me a guideline. You do not have to do this step. It is entirely optional and up to you. So if you don't want to trace this out, skip and fast forward until we get to the pink paint part. But I'm just going to keep drawing around mine for a few more seconds and just kind of see what I want my frosting to look like. So take a little look around. This does not mean that this is going to be the final product. Again, this is just a guideline because I like to kind of have an idea of how far down I want to go. So now to start out our donut planter, I would like you to wet your paintbrush in that cup of water and then grab that pink paint. Now we are going to start with a base of straight pink paint. So this is just going to be the paint that is found in your cup, and you're just going to create a base. It is not going to cover all of the terracotta pot because of the way the paint is made. This is acrylic paint. It's just going to give you a nice dark base that we can paint on top of later on. So you're going to take your paintbrush and start painting all the way around your terracotta pot to make your donut frosting base. And you can make this not too thick because we want to be able to paint more on top of it. So just kind of spread it out a little bit and just cover the whole thing. And then we will move on to the next step. So keep going, make those drips however you want them to be. It can be straight across. It could be bumps and lines. It's your frosting, so really whatever you want it to look like, just make sure you go all the way around the pot to make it look like a donut. Once you've painted all the way around, you're going to put this to the side and let it dry for about 15 to 20 minutes, just because we don't want our paint to mix. So you can clean off that brush, set your pot to the side, and come back in about 15 or 20. After 15 to 20 minutes have passed, your paint should be mostly dry at this point. There might be a few wet pockets. That's okay. Don't worry about those. But you are ready to now start doing a second coat of paint on your donut planter. Now, this color is entirely up to you. I like when a donut has that classic really light pink, baby pink look to it. So I'm going to create that color using the pink and the white paint that were in my grab and go kit. Now, if you want your donut planter to be this hot pink color, by all means, go over it with more hot pink. That's entirely up to you. But I'm going to use my white and my pink to create that really classic pink that a donut has to me, to put on the sides of it. But again, if you just want to use a straight hot pink, that's entirely up to you. If you want to use a different color entirely, by all means, go for it. It's your donut. Make it whatever color frosting you want. but here I am just mixing up my nice baby pink. And once it gets to be the color that I want, I am going to go over the pink base that I've already set and start making it not a hot pink base, I'm sorry, and start making it that baby pink color that I am looking for with my frosting. So again, just follow the lines and start painting it. Take your time, go slow, and by all means, make it look however you want it to look. There's no right or wrong way to make this planter. Once you have your second coat all the way around your pot, what I like to do, this is my pro tip for creating this donut planter, is I like to now use my finger to smooth out the paint. If you're anything like me, you might notice that there's some brush strokes, meaning some lines in your paint, and that doesn't really scream donut in my opinion. So I don't like those when they're on my creation, so I use my finger now and I just kind of put a little bit of paint on it and I use it to smooth out the whole planter to kind of give it that glazed frosting look. So I'm going to do that with my finger. Again, this is totally up to you. It is kind of fun to do, and you know, that's how I give it that really thick frosting look. So again, this is my pro tip. Use it or leave it. It's totally up to you depending on what you like and what you want your project to look like. But this is what I recommend, and this is what I do anytime I've painted this planter. So it's super easy. Just make sure that you wash your hands after you're done, and then we can move on to the next step. So just keep going until it looks the way you want it to look like. This is going to be our last coat for the base, so make sure it is perfect and it's what you want it to be. Once you have your frosting all done and it looks the way you want it to look, you are now going to set this aside again for another 10 to 15 minutes just to kind of let it dry, and then we can start painting our sprinkles. All right, now that your project is pretty much dry, it is time to start putting some sprinkles onto our donut planter. So by doing this, you're going to take your paintbrush and you're just going to dip the tip of it into the paint, and you're going to use the whole length of it to create sprinkle-sized paint drops on your terracotta pot. So now you can use any combinations of colors you want for this. You can make your sprinkles all one color. You can make them all the colors. You can create your own colors. However you want your donut planter to look. This is a extension of you, so make it as fun and as colorful as you'd like it to be. So again, just start out by taking the tip of your paintbrush, dipping it in that paint, and using that as your guide for the size of your sprinkle. You can color them in, fill them in, make them fatter, skinnier, depending on how you want them to look. But this is just the guideline to go by, and this is how I make my sprinkles. So I'm going to use a whole bunch of colors in this video that you can follow along with me, but again, you don't have to use all these colors, and you can even use the paint included to make some of your own, like for example mixing the blue and the yellow to make a green, or the blue and the pink together to make an even darker purple than what you have. So experiment, feel free to make it whatever colors you want, and go sprinkle crazy. Just make sure though, when you are changing colors in between the sprinkles, to fully clean off your brush. That is the biggest tip I can give you, because you don't want to muddy those colors together if you're looking for a true, authentic, say purple, and you still have blue left over on the brush. So have fun creating these sprinkles, and we will meet at the end to look at the finished product. All right, so here we are just finishing up a few more of the little sprinkles on our donut planter. Once you're done and it looks the way you want, I do recommend letting your planter dry overnight. This is just to make sure that when you do go to use it, or you do go to put some plants in it, or whatever you're using it for, it is entirely dry and you don't smudge or mess up any of your hard work. So definitely take a look, spin yours around, make sure it looks exactly the way you want before you're finished, and then let it dry and imagine all the possibilities that you can now do with your planter. You can make it a planter, you can use it as a pencil cup, you can use it to store scrunchies in, whatever you want. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you had an extra special sweet time making your donut planters with me today. If you created these at home and want to submit any pictures to show me, I would love to see them. Please feel free to send me any of your creations to teenservices@hhlibrary.org and show off your artistic skills. Once again, on behalf of the library, thank you all for joining me today, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.